Advertising is everywhere, and it's a major component of media writing. When we think about commercials and PSAs, they take many forms, like this Burger King bullying PSA. And I've put several of them online so that you can watch the entire ad. Definitely worth watching. This is an ad as well, again, sort of a PSA format. Sometimes it's about products, sometimes it's about funny videos, and sometimes it's about journalism, but in the form of an ad and sponsored by Netflix in this case, and Orange is the New Black. Dove is known for its campaigns about redefining beauty, so I've also posted this one for you. Then there are more sort of lists, listicles, those sorts of things. This is for Equinox, a luxury fitness club, about an athlete's guide to water. In fact, we'll be doing something a little closer to this type of an assignment for our branded content assignment, but this is from CNN, and they clearly label it paid partner content from Equinox. So what's the primary difference between PR and advertising? It really is the cost, because advertising, you have complete control of the content, as opposed to PR, where you aren't paying to have the content placed. You are at the mercy of the media outlets, or if you publish it yourself, you have control. But in advertising, you're paying to have this content published, so you have complete control. Let's make a list of all of the types of advertising writing that can come to mind. So if you're really dedicated, you'll pause this and make a list, and then we'll come back and look. So we've got creative briefs, research reports, client proposals, promotions, blogs, ads like ad content, TV scripts, online video scripts, print ads, online print ads, interactive advertising. There's just so much more. So native and sponsored content is really sort of the thing right now. So we'll take a look at that. But first, let's just think about how writing and advertising really go hand in hand. And so you don't see a lot of very wordy ads like this older McDonald's ad anymore. But we focus on the benefits and the characteristics of the product or service that we're advertising. And we focus on showing, not telling. And even though we think about advertising sometimes as being that over-the-top element, really the most effective ads avoid hyperbole and exaggeration. So clear and plain writing, a hallmark of advertising, just as with our other forms of writing. We also know that there are a number of jobs in creating branded content. So Adweek, which is the industry publication for advertising, talks about how many media outlets are employing writers and content creators to create this special brand of native advertising branded content. So in the fourth quarter of 2017, a team at USA Today creates content for local, regional, and national advertisers at scale in every market of the country. So their developers look at data to tell us which stories will perform best depending on the industry, and we're building the infrastructure for this for years and can use these tools to produce content for markets across the country. So USA Today is employing writers and content creators specifically for this type of content. In advertising, audience is key, of course. And so storytelling is important. It's an effective way of using advertising. One of the differences in advertising from PR is that in advertising, you absolutely declare the sponsor. This is who paid for this content to be placed. It's about information and persuasion, but when we're talking about paid content, it's a matter of ethics and a matter of law that you declare where the content is coming from. Glamour magazine has all types of content. Some of the content they have is sponsored content. So showcase your freckles in 3 easy steps. Sponsored content by Fox. Not me, Fox, the other Fox. We've got the same thing happening with CNN. They have all sorts of paid content. So there's a lot of news on their site, but then they have banners where they will declare paid content, and you'll be able to find stories and lists and such. BuzzFeed, really one of the most effective and one of the initiators of this type of content, certainly has quite a bit of sponsored content. In this case, Wendy's, which is known for having kind of a funny, snarky social media, they've got 12 tweets that hit a little too close to home if you're hungry, and then declaring here that this is from Wendy's brand publisher. Content marketing is using storytelling to build relationships with consumers by providing them something entertaining or useful, according to the content strategist. So this from Target actually goes back a few years and also got a lot of traction and a lot of attention in the advertising publications. So 9 delicious ramen hacks, right? So, not hard hitting, but just something that can be useful for the audience. And when you think about college and Target and how those things go together, it just makes sense. When we're doing a branded, our sponsored content or branded content assignment, we're going to be looking for something that's more along the lines of a story or a list, probably sort of the listicle format, but we're using true information, right? So we're not just making stuff up. We are creating this from research that we do and then also our knowledge and sense of who our audience is. There are some specific definitions for branded content, brand journalism, native advertising, sponsored content, all of that. And I've posted these online for you so you can read them in more detail. It can be a little confusing between them, but we are going to focus on sort of the simplified form of branded content and doing something more along the line of a listicle. Here's a few facts about sponsored content that are interesting. So first of all, native advertising is expected to double by the end of this year. And one of the things that I think sort of most affects us as we're thinking about the type of writing we have been doing and we will be doing is that on average, consumers spend almost 2.5 minutes with a branded story, the same amount of time they do with editorial content being the journalism that is produced on a site. 3/4 of marketers think that branded content is more effective than magazine advertising, and 51% of local news sites that sell advertising say they're now selling native or sponsored content compared to just 20% a year ago. So it's definitely a growing part of our industry. In Ad Age, there are examples, they focus on examples of effective branded content. So this is quite a large project that's been around for a while. It's the Renewal Project between the Atlantic media outlet and Allstate Insurance. And this renewal project has been going since 2009, and it focuses on community renewal. For example, here's a university is investing $1 million to train Black male school teachers. So lots of good stories, and again, employing people who are writers and content creators to tell these stories. There are all sorts of public service partnerships that focus on storytelling. This is with National Geographic, so you may have seen some of these ads. There's also quite a bit of content online. There is the New York Times branded studio. Their branded content creators produce this journalism package based on female inmates, but it's sponsored by Orange is the New Black with Netflix. And then there's the Vaseline Project, again, more of a public service project, all sorts of community outreach, as well as content created online. And it's got Viola Davis as a spokesperson. So, you probably won't have that for your project, but you can look at some of these to give you some inspiration as we move into this part of our media writing assignments. One thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention is the kind of fun Thrillist with Smith & Forge hard cider. So definitely take a look. This video got 95 million views on Facebook alone and some ridiculous amount within the first day. So this is kind of a fun video, so you can check this out. I've got this posted online for you too. Enjoy.